Hello, YouTube. I'm David.
I'm Jeremy.
This is Bourbon and Zeppelin's Technically Correct. Hey,
Oh,
we didn't even rehearse that.
First time out of the gate.
This is our first time even doing this thing, this segment. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you should know that we do record this live on Wednesday nights. We record a whole bunch of things on Wednesday nights on Facebook. So you can find us at facebook.com/Bourbon and Zeppelins. Join in the fun. We have a lot of people watching and interacting with us right now. And you could be one of those people. It doesn't cost you anything. But yeah, you could do it. You could see what happens before the show and after the show. It's a good time had by all.
See how we come up with our topics and prep for everything.
Right.
Okay,
so tonight on Technically Correct, what we do on this show is we talk about things that are about technology. News stories.
And they are correct.
And yeah, so
that they have been gleaned from the internet.
Yeah, so the name Technically Correct, little work in progress. If you would like to give us your input, I suggest going to facebook.com/Bourbon and Zeppelins, dropping us a line there. Of course, you could just put a comment down below this video or off to the side. I don't know what platform you're necessarily watching it on and where the comments are, in relation to everything else. And just if you don't like this graphic design, let us know that too, which is fine because I'm changing this next week.
Because it's all going to be different tomorrow.
I don't like it either. Yeah, so let's get started. What's the first thing we're talking about today, Jeremy?
Today on Technically Correct, we're going to start with Apple to undercut popular law enforcement tool for cracking iPhones.
Right, so
That's a lot of words.
We've dropped this link in our feed on Facebook.
Yeah, so you guys
a bunch of times.
At least once, anyway.
At least once.
All
so
right.
what's this? So this story is about law enforcement has a tool to crack iPhones. They love getting iPhones from people.
Are you going to put this up on the screen for them?
No.
For YouTube? All right.
I mean, I could. I really got to figure out.
We got to figure out our layouts.
Do this.
All right. Sorry, YouTube.
Yeah, you don't get to see it. We'll put
We'll
it
get
in
you something next week.
We'll put it in the description box below.
Right.
I'm gonna remember to do that. Totally.
I'm gonna totally remember to do that.
Totally remember to do that. So basically, we never show people the story.
Yeah,
maybe we
do.
do.
We always show people the story.
We used to. I guess that's true. It's been a while. We haven't done this in like 3 weeks. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Who's to say what used to happen in the past? Anyways, law enforcement, they have access to a tool that allows them to crack iPhones. So when they arrest somebody and they get an iPhone and they want you to unlock it, you say no. Or it's, like maybe your, what's the famous case was a terrorist? It was a bomber. That person was dead, and they didn't have a way to open the phone. This is all I gotta remember the story. It was like a really big deal.
It feels like it's technically correct.
It was, yeah, it was a real big deal. And anyways, so the cops couldn't unlock the phone, and they wanted Apple to do it, and Apple was like, no, we aren't going to do that. So then the cops got some third-party company to build a tool to do it for them. And it is, the thing that's key here is that it is a hardware device that they have to sort of plug into the bottom of your iPhone.
Right.
So Apple, and as many complaints as I have about Apple, they do really try to protect your privacy sometimes. So
they do sometimes
do
the right thing.
In this particular case, they have added, I think, an option to the OS that allows you to say, if my iPhone hasn't been used in X amount of time, disable the USB port.
And it looks like okay, so here's the paragraph we were looking for earlier.
Good.
I finally found it. The privacy standard bearer of the tech industry said it will change default settings in the iPhone operating system to cut off communication through the USB port when the phone has not been unlocked in the past hour.
Oh, okay, there you go.
So so the default will be, if you haven't unlocked your iPhone in the last hour, it will not communicate through that USB port.
That's interesting. I wonder how that's going to affect. So at night, I listen to podcasts as I fall asleep.
Yeah.
And I have my phone plugged in.
Yeah.
To
Charging.
Well, it's charging, but the sound goes to a speaker. It's like my clock radio has a USB port on it. I could Bluetooth it, but because it's there, and I can charge it at the same time that I'm listening to stuff. I wonder if that's going to turn that off
after an hour.
If the sound's just going to stop.
I feel like, excuse me. I feel like that's a really easy thing to anticipate and to prevent it from stopping playing, because if you're playing music at a party or whatever, and you don't unlock your phone for an hour, does it stop streaming music? I feel like surely that's something that they can anticipate and prevent that use case from causing issues. Although, having said that, I've seen way sillier things in the tech industry.
Oh, sure. It's easy to miss things. It's real easy to miss things.
When you miss the forest for the trees.
Yeah.
When you're staring too close.
Like, oh, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then, we forgot about
this thing.
other really obvious thing.
Hey, wait a minute. If we don't have a headphone jack and you have to connect through a dongle, how do we charge it when we're listening?
With a splitter.
With an extra dongle.
My favorite, just because we're talking about stupid things that they missed, the Apple wireless mouse.
Yeah.
You know that one, right? Where the charger is on the bottom.
Why do I know that? Okay.
So you can't use the mouse while you're charging it because it has to sit like this because you have to plug a cable into the bottom of the mouse.
Because, why would you ever be charging it while you're using it?
I do it at work all the time.
I know.
Obviously not the Apple wireless mouse,
but yeah,
I do have a wireless mouse that.
All right.
Because I always forget to charge it on the weekend, so it's always like in the middle of a Wednesday, and it's like, I guess I got to charge.
I guess we have to charge it. So is Apple the good guy in this, or is Apple the bad guy in this?
I think Apple's. I guess it depends on your perspective. From my perspective, I think Apple's the good guy in this.
So to play devil's advocate, but that means that bad guys can get away with bad things, and the police can't catch them because Apple's hiding the information that the police need to catch the bad guys.
Yeah, I think it really means that private citizens who haven't actually been convicted of a crime still have a right to privacy, and Apple is protecting citizens' rights, which is an important thing, and a very important part of the legal system in Canada and the States.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. Apple's
I think they're the good guy here.
I think they're the good guy.
But yeah, I guarantee you that'll be the argument against it is, we got to catch it.
We got to catch the bad guys.
What if there's
go get your gun.
Yeah.
That's it.
What if he was sending text messages to Osama bin Laden? His ghost.
His ghost. No, this is a good thing. Okay. Kudos, Apple. You're doing a good job.
You get a thumbs up from Bourbon and Zeppelins.
Keep on trucking. Okay, Apple still, technically speaking...
Still talking about Apple. Apple did another...
Apple did another thing.
Another good thing because they were doing a bad thing that maybe we didn't know about.
Apple's stopping doing the bad thing.
So this is a good thing.
Here you go, Facebook. You can check this out. Apple is ending apps' ability to secretly sell your contacts list.
So I think really they buried the lead here, which was that you used to be able to secretly sell the contact list if you had an app in the App Store and installed on someone's phone. I have in the past. I've had 3 apps in the App Store. I had no idea I could be selling contact lists to anybody.
So when you start up an app and it says, this app wants to have access to your contacts.
Yeah.
There are legitimate apps that you want the app to access your content so that you can utilize your apps you can utilize your contacts in the app. That's a good thing. But apparently, you were also giving the developers of that app the consent to sell your contact list.
Secretly.
They
didn't have to tell you that they were going to sell your contacts. And I get there's a lot of money in that. So I suspect we're going to see more obtrusive ads.
That's an interesting Side effect, yeah. Revenue streams get cut off. They have to spring up somewhere else. We're probably going to default back to the old, tried and true, the oldest revenue stream in the world. Advertising.
Or prostitution.
Not in the apps. No, Apple's pretty sticky about that one.
That is true. I guess maybe in Android.
Maybe in the Google Play Store.
Yeah.
But not in the App Store.
That's very true. So
now the interesting thing is Apple trying to get out and ahead of not having to appear before Congress and explain?
I'm willing to bet that there was at least one guy that works at Apple who stumbled across Mark Zuckerberg
and his testimony,
doing his best impression of a human being, testifying to Congress.
Frankly, I can't believe Mark Zuckerberg kept his composure as well as he did. I get
he's the CEO. Send someone who knows how to talk to people.
I don't know anybody who's technically proficient that could answer those questions without having that look on their face.
I guess.
Because
he was terrible.
You just want to ask the senators, like, do your grandchildren program your DVD player for you? Like,
absolutely. Well, they probably still have VCR, first of all.
Do your grandchildren show you how to use the VCR?
They're just taping old episodes of Golden Girls off of like channel 305 or something like that at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with Golden Girls, by the way. I love that show. I have all the Funko Pops of the entire Golden Girls set.
So Apple definitely trying not to get called in front of Congress or the Senate or any regulatory body to to explain why.
What does Apple do?
Why they were allowing.
What's an iPhone? How does the iPhone work?
Can you explain
that to me in 5 minutes?
In 5 minutes, explain to me
how do you make money?
Oh no, they don't care about that.
No, that's what they were asking Facebook.
Oh, is what they?
That was one of the things. What is your business? Oh, they don't understand.
Ooh. All right, so
those
Apple,
legislators, people.
Good job for finally doing the right thing.
Thanks for honest to God though, that headline should have been like, "Hey,
Apple's been selling your contact." It's not Apple.
No, random developers have secretly been selling your contacts off of your iPhone.
And Apple's let them do it.
What I want is a list of apps that were doing that. I want to know if my contacts were sold.
Oh, that would be a good follow-up.
I would really like to know if my contacts have been sold. The thing is, I don't think most people care.
Do you wear contacts?
I do not. Does Facebook people, do any of you care? Like if your contacts were getting sold, would it bother you? Or I guess I'll ask YouTube too. If you're on YouTube, you can let us know in the comments down below.
Let us know in the comments. So here, and I guess for me it would depend how, what's being sold. It's a name and an email address, and potentially a phone number.
Mm-hmm. And then they know that they know you.
And that's the question. So
and then they can build you can spider a tree from that.
Yeah.
If you have overlap.
You can build a wicked awesome Venn diagram.
Yeah. Based on their, and then based on your area code or the area codes of your friends, they sort of know where people are located
and how they're. Yeah. There's some great machine learning that can be.
Yeah, you could mine a lot just with names, phone numbers, and email addresses.
Sarah said she wanted a cut.
You want a cut of that. Well, you did get a cut because you got less advertising.
That's kind of like money.
That's almost money.
That's
not having to look at it.
Not having to look at targeted advertising. That's almost like, yeah. All right. For Technically Speaking's last...
Technically correct.
Technically correct.
You can tell Jeremy wanted to call it Technically Speaking.
I forgot I wanted that.
Yeah. But because I made the graphic, I just made a call. And I went with Technically Correct. And we don't really like any of these names, to be totally honest.
Tell us what we should be naming.
Tell us what this segment should be called.
We need help.
If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, just let us know.
All right. Uber.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
Uber applies for patent to spot drunk passengers.
So apparently Uber has figured out they use like the accelerometer in your phone, and they can tell by how you're holding your
Really?
phone. Yeah, they can tell by what you're doing with your phone while you're ordering your Uber if you're drunk or not. They have enough metrics to be able.
That's
Apparently,
insane.
yeah. It's a really neat, like from a purely technical standpoint. I love
Yeah.
it. I think it's great. From like a user standpoint, I kind of don't like it. Like, it's not a terrible idea.
I want to see if I can drunk Uber.
See if you
Like
see if
order
you
one
can-
and have it think I'm drunk.
Yeah, that would be. I bet you. I feel like you probably couldn't. But, and so there are a couple of
Sounds like time for
there
some
is an
research.
issue that I do have with this. Like I feel like you couldn't if you were like on purpose trying to. But I do have a little concern. Not a little. I'm concerned for people who have mobility issues, who are ordering an Uber, who are not drunk, and maybe they just, maybe they have, Parkinson's, where you shake, maybe they got something like that, or they just have, something where they just have problems holding stuff with their hands. Will they get a false positive on people with disabilities?
That's interesting.
That's one question.
So
The article
according-
brings up a couple of other good ones, though.
according to the application to the U.S. Patent Office, the system would spot uncharacteristic user activity. What I'm sort of wondering is, are they comparing my normal activity to my drunk activity? Or are they comparing my activity to everybody?
That's an interesting question. See, I thought what I was thinking
Right.
was that they took everyone's activity.
And they can spot a drunk person.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they would sort of match what
and
you
that's
were
the first
doing
way I read it too.
to the to whatever algorithm, whatever rules that they've created to say this is what a drunk person does with a phone. This is a 78% likelihood of this user being drunk based on how they're using the phone, right? Like that's
right.
what you would see behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's not bad. I mean, it could just be like, here's how they normally use the phone, and then, it's late on a Saturday night and things are getting a little shaky.
Yeah, and does time of day factor into it? Like,
what
what
if you're an
machine learning are
alcoholic?
they all using to?
I bet if you're an alcoholic, they would never know when you're drunk. If that's the way they're doing it, where if they're only comparing it to your normal usage. If you're always drunk, it's like seeing the Hulk. That's my secret. I'm always drunk. I'm always wasted when I order an Uber. It's the only reason I get in an Uber.
Now, did you read the whole article here?
Of course not.
We don't inform ourselves before we talk about stuff. The next thing the extension of this would be really interesting to see. Does it warn the Uber that you've ordered?
Yes, it does.
It does?
Well, I think it does. Because one of the concerns that someone brought up was that, yes, the idea is a driver would be able to see if you're drunk. This is why they want to do it. Because some people don't want drunk people in their cars.
I don't want drunk people
Right?
in my car.
So some Uber drivers, now they can go, oh, this is a drunk fare, although I'm not technically a taxi, a drunk fare, and then you can pass on them. And then someone else can grab them. So this does open up other issues.
And as stated here, critics expressed concern that an app that could predict user behavior could be used by drivers wishing to prey on vulnerable passengers.
Right. So you'd get some people who are like, I definitely don't want a drunk person in my car. And then you get
get
other
some
drivers
people
who are
like,
like, I definitely
want.
want a drunk person in my
I
car.
do.
I hope they're really drunk. I'm going to bring some vodka with me to get them drunker and or more vulnerable, right? Because like if you are having, and this even goes for people like with a disability, right, who might also just appear drunk. And this was, of course, based on what we used to think the algorithm was. And maybe it is that. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if someone gets flagged as being drunk, but maybe they just have a disability, they're still vulnerable, right? Sober or not, right? So it could be. And, Uber, it's not like drivers, Uber or taxi or whatever, don't have bad seeds, right? There's,
Or humanity.
that's just sort of how statistics work.
That's, yeah.
Same
Yeah.
with doctors.
Sarah points out, I'd like to know when my Uber's drunk. They should have an app. Yeah, does this app work both ways?
Well, you can watch them on the map. If they
As,
get all wobbly on the map.
as your Uber pulls up, does it warn you, by the way, this driver's plastered? Yeah. Let's go!
Woo!
That-
They should have. I think the next step for Uber is they should put breathalyzers in all of them to start the car.
For the drivers? Or
Yeah,
I
I think that's. Well, actually, no. Their next step is self-driving.
Yeah.
Let's be
That-
realistic.
that's the way
Did we
they're-
talk about the one where? I don't know if we did the show. If we did a show where we talked about
Not this show.
Uber had one of their cars hit a pedestrian or killed a pedestrian, but it was like a self-driving one. But
Yep.
the guy was like in the driver's seat, and
No, that was it was a lady that was in the driver's seat. I think another.
or
lady
sorry,
died, yeah.
well, I just meant there was someone in the driver's seat. But yeah, they had like disabled the emergency brake. Uber had disabled the emergency
Yeah.
brake, and so it couldn't stop in time. I guess the
That-
software was like, "Oh God, we need to stop," and it tried to stop, but there was no e-brake for it to use to come to a stop. So they wound up hitting that
There was
person.
there's a lot of details about that.
Yeah.
That's
Anywho.
a big story. That
That's supposed to be their next big thing is self-driving Ubers.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Well,
I think that brings us to the end of this.
that's the end of this segment.
That's the end of Technically Correct. I've been David.
I'm still Jeremy.
And if you've been watching this on YouTube, thank you very much. Please remember that we do this live on Wednesdays, facebook.com/Bourbon and Zeppelins. You can just go to that page, like the page, follow the page, and you'll get notifications when we schedule a live show. It's
Record.
to record these things. You can stick around, see what we talk about before, see what we talk about after. Things get a little crazy in the Facebook live chat sometimes. I'm not saying that,
I'm not saying.
but I'm just saying. Anyways, that's been it. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.